Hello guys, welcome back to more Warframe, and today we're gonna look at the Orvius. And this weapon is a request from one of the viewers. He asked why does the gas damage from the channeling troll attack thingy, why does the toxin damage do such a high amount of damage? And actually he did not ask anything. It was more like a statement. There was no question. It's more like a statement followed by a challenge.
Challenge accepted.
So anyways, today we're gonna talk about it and see if I could answer your statement. Anyways, first you have to understand how it works, and it's basically when you channel and when you do a troll, if it hits the enemy will be immobilized, and it will do certain procs depending on what mods you have on. It will do certain procs on the enemy. By default, it will do coal status effect with damage, and if you have, let's say, one elemental in it, it will combine with the coal. So let's say if you put toxin, it will combine with the coal and become viral. So what we did here is we put in heat and toxin, so we get gas and also coal. So when you do this on the enemy, it will proc gas or coal, or both if you're lucky. So we're gonna just do some demonstration with a corrupted heavy gunner. Now do keep in mind that the heavy gunner has really high armor, so this toxin does not actually eat through armor, so the damage will be reduced because of the heavy gunner's armor. And I'm gonna go invisible to get the stealth multiplier. Excuse me, the stealth multiplier. And here we go, here's the troll. And you can see it's about 29k per tick. And for some reason, more than one proc was done. There's multiple procs, there's proc at the same time, which is one of the reasons why this weapon is so good. It could proc a few at the same time, but at the same time I have witnessed it before just procking one at a time, or just procking let's say it proc coal 3 times in a row. I did that before, so just to let you know. Okay, so next let's try it with, I do not have a Bursa, but I have the Auditor, which is something similar to the Bursa. In fact, I think it is stronger, so let's try with that. Okay, so one thing about it is it likes to run around. All you have to do is touch it, and you'll stop. Oh my god, it's like chasing a chicken. Holy no. Okay, there you go, touched it. Make sure you're channeling and you throw. Whoa, what's this? Okay, I see it. It's about 12k per tick. Yeah, 12k per tick from the toxic. Let's try one more. Let's try an executioner. The executioner, go right. Low 135. Whoops, it's out already. Now one missile is all it needs to kill me, so I have to be really careful. Okay, make sure I'm channeling and throw. Whoa, do you see that? It's 55k per tick. Okay, now keep in mind, with all those values, we're gonna compare it with another weapon really soon, but now let me just talk about it a little bit. First of all, you have to understand how the toxin work, the proc. If it's just toxic or toxin, I'm actually confused between toxic and toxin at the moment. So if it's toxin, it's the proc. When it procs, it's only 50% out of the total toxin damage. Okay, if you have heat in it and it becomes gas, now it takes the total 125% out of the total toxin damage. Okay, so obviously just with heat on, the toxin damage is increased by a lot. Okay, and what you want to do is you want to increase that toxin damage as much as possible. So we have Fever Strike, and of course the dual stat mod with toxin in it. Okay, now having things like Molten Impact does not increase the damage. okay, of the ticks. It increases the gas damage and also maybe your initial attack damage, but it doesn't increase the damage per tick. So that is not what this build is about. Well, this is my build, so what I'm going for is purely focusing on the tick and how to really cause the toxic proc to do more damage. Okay, pressure point will increase the toxin damage, spoil strike will increase the toxin damage, and also the smites will also increase the toxin damage, and also finally lasting sting, which increases the duration, therefore overall more damage. Now the key thing is people will think about how small the damage here is, and how did it manage to do such an incredible amount of damage. So the answer is, you're not supposed to look at the damage here, you're supposed to look at the damage when he troll, which is 1488. Okay, so taking this amount and picturing how much the total toxin damage within this amount, and then really do the multiplier on based on that amount. Okay, and that is how it got so high. Now I couldn't really tell you the exact calculation for this because there's a lot of factors, and I cannot quite make up some of it. In fact, I'm still trying to figure out it myself, but yeah, basically they're looking at this. Now with that said, you know that if you do a spin attack and it procs gas, that toxin per tick is gonna do a lot more damage than your troll. So just like this, you can see that troll damage is actually not really that OP, although it's very convenient to use and very easy to apply, but it's not really the best thing. Okay, and the problem with the Orvius is that it has a very low status chance, 22% after having this two dual stat mods, which increases it by 120% status chance. So it has a very low status chance, plus it has to compete with the non-elemental damage, which I mean the physical damage, that has a 4 times more likelihood of actually proccing. So it becomes a very low status chance weapon, as in it's not very viable to proc with a spin attack. Now we're gonna look at a different weapon, and this weapon is actually the twin Basolk. I have some ideas for this weapon which I might feature in a future video, but right now let's just take it for example because I find it really useful for this example. Now it has some unique features. One of it is that it has only heat damage. So just like that, if you remove volcanic edge, you will still get your gas damage. Okay, and another thing is that it has a very high status chance, which means that yeah, only with 2 dual stat mods it went up to 88, almost 90% status chance. So it's very useful, and everything here is actually modded exactly the same as the Orvius that you saw just now. And you could actually increase it to 100% by adding another status dual states mod, but I decided not to and just leave it at close to 90% and see what happens. Now the spin attack for this thing is a lot, is 3,800 something. Okay, compare it with the Orvius doing troll attacks of 1.4k, so this is 3.8, but because the heat damage on this thing is very high as well, so the toxin damage within the spin attack is a little bit lesser in ratio compared with the troll attack that you saw. Alright, so now let's just do some demonstration and see if this is actually as good. So we have the executioner. Now the problem with spin attacks is that it has a possibility of hitting somewhere else, somewhere where it is tougher on the enemy, and if that happens, it will reduce the damage dramatically. So yeah, let's hope that that doesn't happen. Oh god, did you see the amount? Because I did not see that amount. Anyway, in just 2 ticks, it died. Tell you what, let's do it again. Maybe you could see the effects when you hit a wrong spot. Yeah, so that would be a good video, right? Oh, Okay, let's see. Okay, I need to really get my angle right so that I could see the damage. Here we go. 71k. Okay, before the Orvius was doing 55, I think. So this is 71k just from a spin attack, and you have to imagine how fast you can redo this, because you can spin and you can spin and you can spin. Whereas the Orvius, once you throw, there first of all there's a casting time when you throw, and after you throw, it will have to immobilize the enemy for a certain amount of time, and then when it comes back there's also a delay and all that shit. But anyway, why did I come back here? Now next enemy we're going to try is the Bursa lookalike. And for this enemy, I would agree that the Orvius is actually better. The reason why is because it has this huge shield in front of him, and if you touch that shield, close to no damage is gonna come out. Okay, so you really have to aim for his back, and it's really not that easy to do. So let's see. There you go. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. It hit a part of the enemy that doesn't that reduces your damage dramatically. So there's not really any information on this on wiki. It's just based on my experience. So something about it is dropping the damage. Okay, that did no damage at all. So let's try again. That also did no damage at all. So you can see why for the Bursa, oh there you go, 63k. So anyway, as I was saying, you can see why for the Bursa the Orvius is better, because you do not have to aim, you just have to throw. Excuse me, you just have to throw. I kind of hiccuped when I said that. You just have to throw, and as long as it lands, it will do a lot of damage. And if I'm not mistaken, it did 12k on the Bursa. I mean the Bursa lookalike, the Auditor. And this one did 61, was it? 61k. Okay, now time to go for our main character, the Corrupted Heavy Gunner, the main dummy that we always use. Poor thing. Okay, so just a reminder, it was 29k. So let's see how much does this do. And again, their armor does reduce the damage. So if you are fighting against something like pure shield with health, then you're gonna see an insane amount of damage because there is no armor involved. Here you go. Oh, what's that? 38k. 38k damage per tick. Ta-da! Now, in the Orvius defense is that it has the ability to proc multiple toxin in one, whereas this one spin attack will only give you one proc, okay, of toxin. So that is one good thing about it. The next thing is like for the Bursa case where you do not have to aim, okay, but overall damage wise, other weapons can do a lot more damage than the Orvius, and it could do it faster as well. So think about that. Yeah, so one thing I'll just want to address is that from the build stated given to me by the viewer is that I saw he had Molten Impact on, so maybe he can try removing that and use something else to burst up the toxin damage. That would make your build a lot better. Alright, finally I would just like to talk about a mod that I feel that people kind of overlooked it. Actually not really overlooked, more like they tried to make use of it but just couldn't. And it is Energy Channel. So what it does is that when you spend about 100 energy, it will convert it into damage. In this case 200 damage. And the cool thing is that it will actually increase your toxin damage, and that is really good for your build. So we're gonna see how much it increases, and yeah. So we're just gonna bring it out for a spin, literally. Okay, so to do 100 energy is, there you go. And yeah, sure, why not? Let's try with the Executioner first. Okay, go invisible. That will definitely be 100 energy with disarm and invisible. Okay, I need to make sure I can see the value. There you go. Oh my god, I missed. Oh, there you go. 71.5k, 71k. Okay, I do not remember what was the previous value, but you could check it out, and hopefully it's interesting value. So let's try something else. Let's try heavy gunner. Now I do remember the heavy gunner's previous value. If I'm not mistaken, it's 38k. So wait, did I summon it already? I forgot. Okay, disarm followed by invisible. That should be enough. So it was 38k and now it is, oops, I missed. 44.8k. So it's about, I don't know, I think slightly higher than 6k additional. So let's say it's 6k. This is 6k per tick. That means in a full duration it's of 8 ticks. That is 48,000 damage. Yeah, and since we have things like the duration sting thing, what was it called? Oh my god, I'm so bad with names, I'm so sorry. Okay, we have lasting sting, so therefore even more damage. Yeah, so why not? It seems to really work with this this build. However, there's one more last thing that I just need to let you know, is that the energy channel for a build like this does not work with the Orvius. Okay, because the Orvius is actually doing a troll attack, and yeah, so it doesn't actually hit the enemy physically, so it's not counted. So you can only use this over here, and it could increase your damage. I would say it's a lot, because I don't know, I just feel like it's really good. Okay then, so I guess that's it. Thanks for watching. If you like, or if you feel like you learned something and you want to see more, don't forget to like and subscribe. That will really help me out. And yeah, this is Zope. Wishing you a pleasant day and take care, Tenno.